Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Bob Walters. This is Locked Up Sports, Week 16 recap. One game left to play in the week. Of course, Monday Night Football should be a good one tonight. See if the Colts and Old Man Rivers can hang with the Niners at home. A home game for Rivers should be interesting. They're going to have to. Otherwise, they're going to be done with their playoff hopes. A lot of wild, wacky finishes again in this crazy NFL season we are having. Of course, we had the ones on Thursday and on Saturday, and then we had a couple last night, or yesterday, with the Lions and the Steelers probably being the craziest, the thing that most people are talking about. What's up, everybody? Quick recap here of Week 16. The Lions, Steelers. Listen, I don't know what the uproar is about like, I don't know what everyone's all upset about. It was offensive pass interference. The game cannot continue on an offensive penalty. It's a defensive penalty. You play an untimed down. An offensive penalty, you don't. I think where the league and the referee went wrong here is they explained it when the referee got on the mic and he explained it to the crowd there. He said the touchdown counts. It is a touchdown, but there's offensive pass interference. The penalty will not be enforced. Game over. Now, listen, of course the penalty, of course it's not going to be enforced because the game's over. And yes, it was a touchdown, but because of the penalty, that negates the touchdown. So I don't know what everybody's all up in arms about. Now, the Lions came out, they did the right thing. They didn't blame the referees because they know it was offensive pass interference. What are you talking about? What are you going to do? Give them an untimed down because there's offensive pass interference? The people would be, then no game would ever end if it was within one score. The team would just keep committing penalties if they didn't score a touchdown on it. So, I mean, you can't have that. So, I don't see what the big uproar. It was a crazy finish. Don't get me wrong. Crazy finish. Lions with one play, fourth down, a play to win the game, a play to lose the game, playoff spots on the line. Crazy play. The guy was stopped. His forward momentum was probably stopped too, but the Lions have nobody to blame but themselves. That defense couldn't get off the field on third down to save their life the entire game. The entire game, Rodgers was hitting 11, third and 11, third and 10, third and 14, every time you turned around. And give credit to the Rodgers and the Steelers. They are playing well. With the Ravens loss, which we're going to talk about in a minute, they're going to be going to the playoffs. They're going to win that division. And Rodgers is going to go from the Jets, which, listen, we all know what the Jets are and what they were last year, to the Steelers, where he's going to go to the Pro Bowl. He's going to be playing in the playoffs. He's going to have a home playoff game. I mean, it's a complete turnaround. But as far as the uproar with people going, I can't believe it, I think it's just simply the referee's explanation at the end where he said, it's a touchdown, it's a penalty, the penalty's not going to be enforced, game over. And people are all up, oh, you want to enforce the penalty? Fine, enforce the penalty. Put him back 15 yards, put the ball there, and there's no time left. It's over. Why don't you just do that? Elsewhere, last night, Ravens, Patriots, Ravens needing a win desperately to get in, and listen, they fumbled the ball again. They fumbled it a couple times. You had the receiver fumbling at the end, the running back fumbling in the first half. You had your quarterback go down again. Okay, Lamar Jackson, he's not the Lamar Jackson that we all know anyway, right? He hasn't been all year. He wasn't last night for the little bit that he played. They had to put Huntley in, and Huntley's not a bad backup. He's definitely serviceable. But listen, the Patriots are good, and the Patriots are better than I thought they were. And Drake May is better than I thought he was. He looks like he's ready now. Just last week, 2 weeks ago, I was saying he's not ready. Now he looks like he's ready for a playoff run. And this team could get the 1 seed. Right now you have in the AFC, the Broncos with the 1 seed, even though they lost. The Broncos do get the 1 seed, or they hold on to it at least. And the Patriots are the 2 seed. Patriots 12-3, Broncos 12-3, but the Broncos hold the tiebreakers. I told you that the Patriots can't tie the Broncos because they don't hold the tiebreakers. They need to win a game more than the Broncos if they want to get home field throughout the playoffs. They probably won't do it. They probably will end up in the 2 seed. The 3 seed right now is the Jaguars, who are another team that is surging right now. The 4 is the Steelers. Then you got the Chargers, who are also playing real well at 5. The Bills, who had an easy one yesterday against the Cleveland. And then you have the Colts and the Ravens are the 2 teams that are left out of the playoffs right now. Now, neither of them have a real good chance to get in. The Colts 11%, the Ravens 8% with their loss last night. That basically buries them. And I mean, I guess you do play Lamar Jackson if he can play. I don't know what the word is on the injury, but listen, they're in a rough spot right now. Colts need to win tonight. Give themselves a shot, right? If they win tonight, they got an 11% chance. If they lose tonight, they're not technically eliminated, but they're out. It would go down to a 3% chance for the Colts. The Bills are still hot on the heels with 11-4 record after a pretty easy. Cleveland hung in the game. They came back a little bit, but Buffalo, of course, was a better team there. They were going to win. They weren't going to lose that game either way. They win the game against Cleveland. They move to 11-4. They are a game behind New England, and they still have a game left with New England. And if they win it, they'll hold the tiebreakers against New England, and they will get the 2 seed, and New England will be pushed all the way down to the 6 or possibly even the 7. So just huge implications within the teams that are already in the playoffs in the AFC. That's what you got there. Other big games yesterday, obviously they were the games that were played on Thursday night and on Saturday. We know about them, the crazy finishes there. We just talked about the Lions and the Ravens. In the NFC, the big one for playoff, getting in and not being in the playoffs was Carolina hosting the Bucs. And Carolina continues to play well. They continue to win, and the Bucs continue to just lose. They are 1-6 in their last 7 games. We were talking about a 2 seed or a 3 seed with the Bucs just 6 weeks ago, a month and a half ago. Now it's not going to happen. It's wild stuff in that division. They're going to have a bad team that gets to the playoffs because they both lost to New England. They both lost to Atlanta. And now the Carolina has a tough game coming up this week, and Tampa has an easier game. Carolina is going to host Seattle. Coming in, it's a big game for Seattle. They're trying to hold on desperately to the 1 seed, and Tampa is going actually across the state to Miami to play the Dolphins, who have played okay. They didn't play great this week on their game, but listen, they played all right recently. They're respectable, right? It's a 6-9 record, not terrible, not down by the Jets and Giants, but so there's a good chance that this will still come down to the final week, 2 weeks from now in Tampa. Carolina visiting Tampa. It'll be a playoff game because the winner will be in, the loser will be out, and that's it. So that division I still will think will come down, even though I don't think too much about Seattle. And I told you that Seattle's kind of a fraud and that they're not as good as people think they are. I don't think they're as good. They're entitled to be in a 1 seed. I don't think they will get the 1 seed. I think they will probably beat Carolina, who is playing well, 8-7. Tampa now 7-8. They're going to need to win, and Carolina's going to need to lose to keep the things alive in that division and have it be a playoff game in the final week of the season. We told you Buffalo got the big win, right? And the fact that the Eagles won helps Buffalo out too, because now the Philadelphia travels to Buffalo next week. They really have nothing to play for, right? They're stuck in that 3 seed or the 4 seed with their division win this week. Let me just bring over the NFC. With their division win, they're stuck in the 3 seed. The Rams are the 5 seed. The Niners are 6. And then you got the Panthers and the Packers are the 2 teams that are on the outside looking in that still have a chance. The Packers will have a game. The Bears play the 49ers in San Francisco next week. Big game. Sunday Night Football. It's a big one. It's going to matter for San Francisco, is going to be in the hunt for the 1 seed still if they win tonight. And the Bears, who are still trying to fight off the Packers. Now, the Packers next week, they play Baltimore at home. Baltimore is all but out. They're not mathematically eliminated. They could still get in, but it's a real long shot. They need a lot of help. They got to win out. So the Packers are home to Baltimore, while the Bears are in San Francisco. So that's another one that you could get coming down to the final week. Despite what happened the other night, it could still be down to that last week of the season. As far as the Lions go, listen, that loss really hurt them last night. That pretty much puts them out there. There's 7% chance left to go into the playoffs. Next week, the Lions will have a short week against Minnesota on the road in Minnesota. It's a rivalry game, so they'll probably play it tough. The NFL got screwed. They screwed themselves with their Christmas Day, because that's a Christmas Day game. two Christmas Day games. I'm sorry, the three Christmas Day games you got are Dallas, Washington, out of the playoffs. Detroit, Minnesota, basically Detroit hanging on by a thread. And then Broncos, Chiefs, no Mahomes, Chiefs out of the playoffs. It's going to be a rough Christmas for the NFL. But you know what? I bet they still draw a ton of eyeballs to the screen just because people watch football. They can do no wrong as far as their viewership goes. But locally, Jets, Giants, listen, they both lost. Terrible loss for the Jets. Okay, they go into New Orleans and they get run out of the building by a bad team. New Orleans has played well recently, right? They beat the Carolina, they beat Tampa, and then yesterday they beat the Jets. And it's clearly just a tankathon for the Jets at this point, right? They're playing Cook. They came out after the game and said Cook is going to still be the quarterback next week. He's not very good. He's not going to be a starting quarterback anywhere in this league. And the Jets lose 29-6. They don't manage any offense. The defense is not good against a bad Jets team. Brady Cook throws for 188 yards. He has a pick, no touchdowns. They couldn't really run the ball. 16 attempts for Breece Hall. Isaiah Davis with only 4 receptions. Cook is not. He's obviously not the answer. The Jets got to go out and get themselves a quarterback, but just another embarrassment by the Jets. And I guess they're okay with the 3-win season. And they're just trying to get down into that top 3 or 4 picks in the draft. We'll see. The Giants played all right, right? The game plan is just not there. Any week. They don't look like they're ready to play. They hang in these games. Minnesota's kind of not, they're out of it already. They hung in there until about 2 weeks ago. They're out of it. The Giants are out of it. It was a cold day. 16-13. The Giants lose. They lose on a field goal. I said, how many games have the Giants lost on a field goal? But it's not hand grenades and it's not horseshoes. It's football. And close don't count. And in the NFL, you're either winning or you're losing. And there's no way they could keep the GM. There's no way. And obviously Kafka is not the coach, right? He has shown now in these couple games since taking over for Dable that he's not an NFL head coach, and he's definitely not the guy that the Giants need or are going to hire, because there's a ton of talent out there in the coaching, and the Giants are going to be a very sought after job this offseason because they have a quarterback, because they have the receiver, they have young guys. They have a chance to be molded into a good team with the right leader. But, it certainly hasn't shown yet. The Giants, they don't do anything but lose. They don't do anything but lose. Both of these teams. And I didn't even watch the Giants game, so I can't even really comment too much on it. But, I mean, it's just loss after loss. And piling up 2 wins, 3-win seasons. Like, what are we doing here? It's got to get better. When you have the reason you have a high draft pick when you have a bad season is so you can get better. So it's fair. So everybody get better. Giants have had high draft picks now for years. It's not any better. Never any better. 2 wins, 3 wins, top pick. They've never had the top pick. Well, they're soaring right towards the top pick this year. They're flying their way right there to being on the clock in 2 weeks. And what a disaster. Another disaster. Another head coach in fired. Another GM fired. They can't get it right. Mara's sick. And it's all falling apart. The Giants are really, this is a storied franchise. And now they started the NFL with the Demaras and the Rooneys and the intermarriage, and they started the NFL and they're playing. Oh, they're just garbage. And Steelers are good again. Look at the Steelers. Steelers have still only had 3 coaches in the last 70 years. Giants have gone through 3 coaches in the last 6 or 7, and they're gonna have another one. And are they gonna get that right? I have no reason to believe they're gonna get that right. You got to bring in someone here that is established, ready to go, already as winning on his record, has coached teams maybe to the playoffs, like something. Don't give me some guy I've never heard of that's a coordinator that everybody thinks is going to be a good head coach, or someone from college. Give me someone from college, it better be Saban. That's it. Because we can't do this anymore. I mean, I have no interest in watching the Jets or the Giants. 0. Because they're terrible. The Jets are a disaster, terrible, and the Giants are even worse. Because they hang in these games and then they lose. Every single week. They had 2 wins this year. Besides that win against the Eagles, it's been useless this entire year. Useless. So those are all the big games that we covered. The Bengals with Joe Burrow is another little side storyline. Obviously, neither one of them are in. But Joe Burrow came back after just having a stinker last week. Came back 309 yards. He threw for 4 touchdowns, no picks. He's back now for the. I'm sure he had some fun last night or yesterday, right? 45-21 drubbing of the Dolphins. But Jets and Giants again, terrible. Just looking through here, and again, Jacksonville. Listen, Jacksonville is a dangerous. They're a good team. They're finally playing the way that people thought Jacksonville would play, and they beat Denver, Denver's up and down. Denver's another young team. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of young quarterbacks and a lot of young teams in the playoffs this year. It's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out going forward into the playoffs with, you got no Chiefs, you got no Ravens, you got no Bengals. You don't have, especially in the AFC, but even in the NFC, you're going to have, there's a lot of new blood in there in the playoffs, and we're going to have a different Super Bowl this year, and it's going to be 2 different teams, unless the Eagles make it. And I don't think the Eagles are going to make it. I think there's something missing with the Eagles. But you're going to have, new blood in the Super Bowl. And in the playoffs, you got new playoff heroes and see which one of these kids can handle the pressure and win a game on the road. Or it's going to be very, very fascinating, and it's going to be a new thing, and it's going to be good. So that does it for me for week 16. I'm going to be live on TikTok tonight, hopefully before the game, maybe after. But we'll see, depending on, I got some things to do, depending on when I get home. So make sure you check that out. Don't forget, rate, review, and subscribe. Every little bit helps. If you're listening on the podcast end, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to the show. And if you're right here on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video that we put out. So that does it for me. I'm Bob Walters from the Brian Gunzel Studios. See ya.